The United States sailed 2 warships close to disputed islands in the South China Sea, a move that is bound to draw the ire of Beijing. The guided missile destroyers USS Spruance and USS Preble sailed within 12 nautical miles of the Spratly Islands as part of what the U.S. Navy calls a freedom of navigation operation. The operation was carried out to challenge excessive maritime claims and preserve access to the waterways as governed by international law. All operations are designed in accordance with international law and demonstrate that the United States will fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows. Friday operation was the second in the South China Sea reported by the U.S. Navy this year. The destroyer USS McCampbell sailed within 12 nautical miles of the Paracel Islands. Shortly after that operation, China accused the U.S. of trespassing in its territorial waters and said it had deployed missiles capable of targeting medium and large ships. The U.S. action violated the Chinese laws and international laws, infringed China's sovereignty, damaged regional peace, security, and order. China will take necessary actions to protect state sovereignty. In late July, the USS Decatur also sailed within 12 nautical miles of Gavin and Johnson Reefs in the Spratly Islands as part of a similar freedom of navigation operation. During that operation, a Chinese destroyer came within 45 yards of the U.S. warship, forcing it to maneuver to avoid a collision. The U.S. labeled the Chinese warship's actions unsafe and unprofessional, while Beijing said the U.S. was threatening the safety and sovereignty of China. The U.S. has accused Beijing of installing missiles and other military hardware on the disputed islands. There's been sort of a steady increase. The U.S. Chief of Naval Operations told reporters earlier this month when asked about China's militarization of the area, the weapons systems have been getting increasingly sophisticated, so it's something we're watching very closely, he added. We've got big interests there, so we're going to remain there, he added, noting that about a third of the world's trade passed through those waters. Navy warships have sailed near islands claimed by China in the disputed South China Sea twice in the past few days, the United States military told Reuters on Thursday, at a time of tension between the world's 2 largest economies. The busy waterway is one of a number of flashpoints in the U.S.-China relationship, which include a trade war, U.S. sanctions, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Earlier this week, during high-level talks, China called on the U.S. military to stop flexing its muscles in the South China Sea and adding new uncertainties over democratic Taiwan, which is seen as a wayward province and claimed by China. The U.S. Navy regularly vexes China by conducting what it calls freedom of navigation operations by ships close to some of the islands China occupies, asserting freedom of access to international waterways. The littoral combat ship Gabrielle Giffords traveled within 12 nautical miles, 22.2 kilometers, of Mischief Reef, Commander Rhiannon Momsen, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, told Reuters. On Thursday, the destroyer Wayne E. Meyer challenged restrictions on innocent passage in the Paracel Islands. These missions are based in the rule of law and demonstrate our commitment to upholding the rights, freedoms, and lawful uses of the sea and airspace guaranteed to all nations, she added. China's military confirmed on Friday that the 2 U.S. warships had sailed through the contentious waterway and said it had tracked the passage of the American ships. "We urge the United States to stop these provocative actions to avoid any unforeseeable accidents," the spokesman for China's Southern Theater Command said in a statement. China has indisputable sovereignty over the South China Sea Islands and its surrounding area. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, where it has built artificial islands and established military outposts. Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam also claim parts of the sea. The U.S. accuses China of militarizing the South China Sea and trying to intimidate Asian neighbors who might want to exploit its extensive oil and gas reserves. U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper met Chinese Defense Minister Wei Fenghe earlier this week for closed-door talks on the sidelines of a gathering of defense ministers in Bangkok. Wei urged Esper to stop flexing muscles in the South China Sea and to not provoke and escalate tensions in the South China Sea, a Chinese spokesman said. Esper has accused Beijing of increasingly resorting to coercion and intimidation to advance its strategic objectives in the region.